Hi, we're back, and we're going to be talking about the number three, the number 333, and Ka Ba Ak. So, the Trinity. Three is a very, very special number, so we're going to discuss it. So, we're only going to be talking about three, not 111, not 222, not 444, but three. So, please stick to questions about that. Um, we gotta make a disclaimer. So number three um, represents biblically the Trinity, and it also represents the three aspects of the soul in ancient Egypt, and it also represents a number that makes up something very special. So now that we have a few people here, we can start. Okay, let's start with the Ba, Ka, and the Ak. Okay, so the Ka would represent your astral body. Okay, like it would look like you. It would have the same, astral um, physical features of you. So be your astral self. Okay, and the Ba would represent like your spirit or your energy. Okay, like it would also represent your consciousness, your mind. So it'd be the spirit of your consciousness. So like a consciousness, okay, like all your mind and what you know and all that. So the Ak would be only given to certain people. It would represent your higher frequency. Um, Not everyone got an Ak. So this would be like your soul versus a spirit. So the Ak would represent a higher frequency soul. Higher frequency soul. And it was said that um, criminals would be unable to pass through because they had no Ak. Okay. Mm. And if they were a criminal and they passed through, it means they were probably falsely accused or whatever they did was for a righteous reason. Okay. So that is that Trinity. Then we have the number 333. And I made some notes so that I could tell you guys a lot of the things that I might leave out if I didn't make the note. So 333 represents the essence of the Trinity. That includes the symbol of mind, body, and spirit, yes. Or I put mind, body, and soul because I have like a sticker on my door and it says mind, body, and spirit, and I scratch out spirit and I wrote soul over. It also represents the Christ consciousness or the ascended master connection, which means you have ascended past or mastered this realm or ascended past this realm of consciousness and have mastered this realm consciously. Okay. So it also represents the presence of universal beings and energies that are heavily influencing you and surrounding you. So if you have the Trinity and the Ak, then you most likely have energy surrounding you, and by James, and also have energies that are making everybody as well, receive certain knowledge and have influences from other realms. Y'all still here? Thank you. So if you have an Ak, you are able to cosmically communicate with other beings from different realms, dimensions, star systems, beings, masters, souls that have already surpassed this realm. So you have that connection. So that's what the 333 represents. In the Bible, it represents the Trinity, God, Father, and the Son. And we spoke about that yesterday on my video about plasma. So the Trinity in the Bible, it varies in certain texts, I guess. Holy Spirit, um, God, and the Son, or the Father, the Holy Spirit, and the Son. Well, the Holy Spirit we spoke about, that is the dark plasma, or the Holy Ghost, or the Holy Soul. So that would be the Ankh, and the God would represent the God would represent the Ba, the astral version. That's why they want to personify God as a man, or a being, or a person. That would be the personification of um, a being. And then we have the Son, the Son, which would represent the consciousness. You know, the Son being born, a Christos figure being born, a consciousness being born. So that would represent um, that aspect of it. So when you look at all of these things, you kind of see how they all relate. And if you ever notice, even on flags, they have usually 3 colors. Thank you, Lavish Kitten, Sprinkle Sprinkle. Day 3 of Phase 2 Elixir, and I feel the changes already. My mind is so clear. The messages from the universe are so clear. This is life-changing. Thank you, Shira. Oh, yeah, you got Phase 2. You're on Phase 2? Yeah, that was a really good phase, because it really does open you up to so much information that you've never probably been able to access. So thank you for that generous donation as well. Sprinkle, sprinkle. She on that phase too. That's a lot of people's favorite phase. So the 333, the Trinity, the Kaaba, and Ak are like very, very much almost the same. Most religion and spirituality and mythological stories go hand in hand, because they all have the same underlying messages. And that's why the 333 number is so important, because it represents being a master, being gifted, being in contact with the cosmos, being a conduit of that energy and that consciousness to work, or deliver something on this realm from the other realm. Okay. And I think that since right now people are waking up to this knowledge a lot faster, that means there's going to be a lot more of that influence here on Earth, or in this realm. And since there's going to be a lot more influence on this realm from beings from higher realms, or consciousness from higher realms working through other people, that could help bring this realm up to the same frequency as the realm that they're working from, or at least to a higher frequency. So yeah, I was gonna say the flag. A lot of flags have 3 colors, because 3 is a very special and sacred number. So if you look at all the flags of the world, you'll see a lot of them have 3 colors. So let me look up some. I'm gonna look them up on my phone. Oh goodness, there's too many. There's so many. So I'm just gonna click on like a few just to show you guys the colors. Many flags. And I have a theory about what the colors represent on each flag, but I don't want to really get into that. And what made me think of all the colors is the shirt. But the colors to me represent the electromagnetic spectrum. Let me make sure. Yeah, the colors on the electromagnetic spectrum and the people of that nation. So if you let me see, let me look at some different countries. Yes. So if we look at different countries, we'll see with the type of people that live there and compare them on the electromagnetic spectrum to where they would land as far as their frequency. Thank you, David. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Oh, divide. Sprinkle, sprinkle. So the more melanin you have, the closer you are to blue or indigo on the electromagnetic spectrum. The less melanin you have, the closer you are to red, dark red, and black. Okay. And then you have the light spectrum, which is the rainbow, which would be right there above ultraviolet. So, right. I'll get into that later. That's a whole nother video, but just peep out the flags and the nations that the flags represent, then take out your electromagnetic spectrum photo and compare. Okay. Did I see that post about Trump being a time traveler? I've been saying that they had access to that, yeah. But I didn't see the new post. Is there a new post? Because there is, I hadn't seen it. Uh-huh. Red, black, green, and vegan tell me how love your thank you. So one thing I agree with Shira on is a woman is her best when she doesn't have to work. So okay, so number 3. Can I skip phase 2 and gold after gold elixir is done? Not if you want the correct results. Sprinkle, sprinkle. They go in an order for a reason. It's like skipping a grade. It's not gonna really benefit you. Okay, so 3, turning from a 2 to a 3, it represents gaining a soul, because if you are able to gain a soul, then you are able to be connected to energies on the cosmic level or divine energies. Because sometimes we think we're connected to the cosmos. Some people aren't connected to the cosmos, but they want to be. So there are other energies that are earthbound. There are other energies that are earthbound that will disguise their whatever as a being from the cosmos, or as energies from the cosmos, or as a consciousness from the cosmos. So anyone who is working with divine energies, they may just be earth energies. And so you got to understand that unless you have certain aspects of self, then you're most likely communicating with earthbound beings. Okay, so 3 reminds me of the Bob Marley song, Three Little Birds. 3 little birds sat on my window. For you youngsters, the Carly Rae, whatever her last name was, she redid it. But 3 little birds represent the mind, body, and soul, the Trinity, all of that that I explained earlier in the video. The part in the Drake song where he says, turn the O2 into the O3, God's plan, means he turned, that would be representing becoming, reincarnating with the soul, And it was said that the Ankh, once that person is physically dead, their body is physically dead, the Ankh lives on and is able to influence people on the planet as well as in the cosmos. As long as their body was well preserved and stayed on the earth, they were able to visit, come back, and influence the masses. But it's and also be remembered. If as long as your body, your grave, and your marker is on the planet, you will be forever, you know, um, remembered, and you will also have a connection physically to your Ak and to the cosmos. So this is why they mummified and preserved bodies so well of the pharaohs, because their influence would last forever. And we're still studying them today. We're still learning about them today. We're still, they're still influencing nations to this day. So if you think of a celebrity who has this same type of um, energy, it would be someone who will still have influence for years and centuries to come. And a lot of people who are well remembered throughout history for being just, very influential have this as well. hmm And then Ankh was what held the plasma. Remember when I told you guys Ankh was also a device that held your plasma and this Ankh. And a lot of Egyptian carvings would show an Ankh up to a pharaoh's nose, and a god or a goddess holding it and giving them their energy. So the god or goddess would represent the ascended cosmic beings. Um, Giving them the influence or influencing them through this Ak of theirs. Okay, so a lot of times the device that would hold the plasma or the Ak of the old pharaohs that have ascended, and whatever, would be given to the new pharaohs via this device. Mhm. And as you guys remember, when I told you that in ancient Egypt, the nose was called the seat of the gods. You know, so and I think they still have this technology. I really do think that they still have this technology, and they give it to certain people who are highly influential. They give it to them. Um, you know, thank you. So, and when I was discussing something yesterday about light and sound. You need both to transcend. And when I was talking about sound, I don't think I clarified it that sound has a vertical wave and light has a horizontal or transverse wave. And that's what the cross is as well. You got to have both. That's why in a lot of these music videos, they're always talking about my necklace got diamonds on it. They're speaking about the throat chakra or the sound of your voice, where your breath comes from through your trachea. It has to travel through that um, throat chakra. Okay, and then of course the frequency or the light would represent your frequency, and you would also be of a higher frequency. So the transverse, when your soul rises up through um, your chakra system, it would have to pass through here and come out and gather and then get this melanin up here and then pass through. So it's a rocket ship, and it's the cross, you know. So the cross is a a combination of sound and light that transcends all other um, that transcends all. So that's why you have like a lot of um, people talking about I got diamonds on my neck, diamonds on my neck, diamonds on my neck. That means this throat chakra. And, you know, a lot of people are experiencing thyroid issues due to the 5G and 4G towers. And so it weakens a lot of other people's, but radiation strengthens other people's thyroid or throat chakra. Right? So it's very scientific and interesting if you can pick it apart and then use science to put it back together. It will work out and you can understand it. Hmm. Hmm. So it's all science, but they just explain it to people like you can understand it in spiritual terms as chakras. But what if you break down a chakra? What really is a chakra? It's an energy system. It's a whole energy body. It's a whole body within your body. Okay, so um, it's a whole mood. I'll say that since y'all can understand it. It's a whole mood. And when all the chakras align and are imbalanced, all the moods are in agreement with each other. It's like they're having a meeting and they all aboard. Okay. It's like everybody is like the jury. They all come out with the same answer. It's like the planets are lining up. Okay. So if you're in conflict within, if you're in conflict within yourself, if you can't get yourself together, if you are this way one day and another way another day, and you keep going backwards, and then you make a positive step in a good direction, and then you go two steps back, your chakras are not all agreeing in that meeting, you know. So this is very important to get balanced, is what they say. That means, if you're easily triggered, stay off of the news channel, stay off of social media, because that messes up your whole chakra system. That's why you have to start seeing code and stop being emotional, because that will mess up all it is. Think about if you had a room full of jurors and you have one over emotional woman, one person that doesn't even really care, and then you have someone who's onto the conspiracy theory, and then you have someone who's logical. Those people are not going to come to that same conclusion. Okay, so they all have to be um, working for the same purpose. Okay, all your chakras must be working for the same purpose. Your mind as well. So if you are scary, if you're superstitious, if you don't understand something and you automatically label stuff, if you jump straight to emotional reactions, your chakras are not in agreement. Okay? This is why you got to learn to see the code. The code will align your chakras, because you're not going to see the emotional aspect of it as the first thing. Okay, you might experience it later, but the first thing you're going to get is the information and the message, and you're going to understand what's happening, and you're not going to react to it, and you're going to use logic to make decisions. So that's very important. you know um and I wanted to say, just because you have a higher frequency or a certain amount of melanin, it still doesn't mean your chakras are going to be in balance. It still doesn't mean it still doesn't mean that you will make the cross. So if you are highly emotional, you're dangerous. Okay. And when I say you're dangerous, I don't mean like a threat, but you're dangerous to yourself because you're a contradiction. Okay. You're, if you walk around feeling holy and, you know, uh, oh, I'm a god, I'm a goddess, and da 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 da, but your emotions are out of whack, you cannot fully say that, oh, I'm an ascended master, or I'm on 5D and 6D and da da da, but you're still reacting to 3D stuff. You know, you can't be. Um, I'm people walk around saying, oh, I'm a god, I'm a goddess in the flesh, da 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 da, but got eviction notices on their door. So what is out of balance? What is out of balance? You know, do you have the Ak? If you had the Ak, you would be in balance. Ak comes with Ak is that soul that gives you the connection to the cosmos. Are you using the Ak that you have? You got one, but can you use it? Do you know what it's for? Have you connected? Do you allow things to guide you spiritually, and that comes through instinct? Do you pay attention to the signs and symbols in your dreams? Do you take the time to understand things on a higher level than rather an emotional level? Do you have the Ak? If you don't have it, you may have it, but do you know how to use it? Start using it. You know, and I feel that if most people start using it, their lives will just start improving day by day, by day by day. In a roundabout way, I teach people how to use it. I teach people, the world and how people are being tricked and brainwashed and, um, influenced to think a certain way, to do a certain thing. The Ak would see all of that and bypass it because it's not working. Okay, they're not going to keep trying something over and over and over just because society says to do it. They're not going to accept something that is not in balance with themselves just because society is pushing it. We don't care about society. We're like, okay, and only the highest influential people create society and what the norm is. So if you have Ak, that means you have influence above as well as below, not just below. Okay. Society only has influence below, not above, and not, you know, they're not able to control the above, period. But if they're able to control you and you have access to the above and you subconsciously push what society is pushing, and you have no knowledge of self and no knowledge of what's going on, then that's where they gain the access to the above through people who are sleeping, through people who are not aware or awake, or and people that are participating in it. So that's why I say, look, whatever society is pushing, great, fine. What do you want for yourself? What do you want? Not what they want for you, but what do you want? What do you want? Oh, I want this, but if I do that, they'll say I'm this. I don't care what they say, you know. But if I ask for this or if I demand that, they'll say I'm this, and you're still gonna get it. Who cares what they say? All they can do is say, which comes to another thing that um, y'all remember that song with Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney in the 80s? Say what you want. Dee, 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 dee. Okay, so they would say 3 times, because when you do something 3 times, you're doing it in 3 parts. You're doing it in the Trinity. You're doing it in remembrance of all three working as one, as um, a meeting and an agreement. Hmm. Thank you. So make sure that the number three, you research it. Don't go by that stuff that's the new age stuff. Go back to ancient history and get the real deal on three. Okay. Don't come to this new stuff that people who think that they're communicating with certain beings aren't really communicating with. Don't do that. Go get the real deal. Okay. Don't get the fake, get the real. See, I can see the fake. There's nothing to it. There's no essence to the fake knowledge. You can just blow the fake knowledge and it will just fly away into dust. Okay. The real knowledge has history behind it. Okay. You can't have a simple explanation for something so profound. And the stupid, simple information that they're giving about 333 or the number three on some of these new age, websites is pretty sad and gives you no type of knowledge or power. So go to the source. Go back to the source of this information. Okay. Um. mhm. Can I put a spell on all of your followers to get a rich partner? I could do that all day, but if you're not the type of person that is going to attract that type of partner, you're not going to get nothing. It starts from within. You got to do what you need to do in order to attract that. Remember, everything is electromagnetic frequency, attraction, and also what you are willing in your mind. You got three parts: mind, body, and soul. You got to be able to track the mind, the body, and the soul. Okay, get it together. Um, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about attraction. Um, let's talk about numbers. Okay, so to multiply, I'm getting ready to talk code to y'all. To multiply is to increase. Okay, to multiply is to increase. To divide is to decrease. So when you take a group of people and you divide them, you decrease their numbers. When you take a group of people and put them together as a whole, and you don't cause any division, they multiply. Even sometimes when you're trying to divide people, they still don't multiply because that's human nature. But in general, when you put a group of people together without causing division, they will multiply. You put a group of people together with many forms of division, they will decrease. Okay. So that's for without, okay, outside of self. Now, inside of self, if you want to multiply, you need another number that will allow you to multiply yourself. Okay. If you want to decrease yourself, then you divide yourself with someone else. So that's code for those of you guys who are understanding code. Um, mhm. How do you attach the soul? The soul will come to you. The soul comes to certain people and through the breath. So, you know how when a newborn baby takes its first breath, it's receiving that plasma, that energy. It's going into the lungs. It's getting activated through the liquids in the bodies, and it's going into every part of that person's body, mind, consciousness, chakra system. So, the breath, breathing, acquiring that which your body will electrically, magnetically uh, have this ak or this soul. Mhm. What is my take on how Terrence Howard situation? Um, Terrence and I share the same exact birthday, except the years are different. He's a Pisces like me, and he's probably a very deep thinker and spiritual person as well. And I feel that his aura and his essence speak louder than his acting because he's very knowledgeable in a lot of spiritual things. But when you talk about that type of stuff around mundane people that are not in the know, they're going to just automatically label you crazy. And see, the thing about Pisces, we don't care. We don't care. Um, and I'm sure he was trying to get his website up and his YouTube channel or whatever he's working on out there in the public. So he used the crazy to his advantage. Okay, he used alchemy and transmutation to get people speaking about him and seeing him in a different light. So, hmm um, I like. Hmm hmm Thank you, Nicoletta. I'm glad you like phase one. So, do you know what this means? Fire, triple fire. hmm So, and here's another thing. Whatever people do, whatever they've done in their past, y'all talk about Terrence. Yeah, people have made mistakes. Shoot, I made mistakes. But who are we today? What are we representing today? Um, and people are always who are not balanced. I'm gonna say this. People who are not balanced always bring up someone's past versus what they're speaking about now because they cannot really debate it or have anything to add to it. So they're going to bring up your past. And then as soon as something happens to someone in the news and the news brings up their past, you get mad and say, well, why is the first thing that they bring up their past? It has nothing to do with what the situation was on TV and what they were doing because y'all do it. Okay. Once you stop doing that, maybe other people will too. Okay. You can't be a hypocrite and expect to get just treatment if you are a hypocrite as well. And that's another thing about being balanced. You got to be balanced. You know, bring in that balance because your influence is above and below. And if you act right, everyone else will act right. Okay. Think about this for a second. You act right, your influence is above and below, not just here, not just there, but everywhere. So if you act right, everyone else will act right. And that's the part of becoming an ascended being or being able to access a thing like ascendant being a god or a goddess in the flesh and acting like one. You know, there are different types of gods and goddesses. There's not always serious gods and gods. Some gods have fun. Some gods are, silly. Some gods have fun, but they're still in control of themselves. It is very hard to find a person who is in total control of themselves, not easily swayed, not easily manipulated. you know and if they seem to be, they may just be feeling something out. They may just be using it to their advantage. They may just be inquiring and getting some more information, but in the end, if their final decision about something or a final thought about something is within their own choice of control, they have ascended to that next level of consciousness because nothing um, manipulates them. Nothing can shake them. Nothing can create a whole different path for them that they've already chosen. So, gotta be in control of the self. If you're in control of the self, you're always going to get good results or avoid a lot of disaster. Okay. Can I define royalty in your words? Royalty, let's go back to the ancient times. Royalty was anyone who was given um, the nod or the influence of the gods. So that's why in ancient Kemet, the pharaohs would have the gods or goddesses uh, Ankh given to them because they were being directly influenced by the cosmic beings above. So royalty would have to be connected to the cosmos, straight up. So we have people that are maybe royalty of earth only, but you know, they may feel connected because of some reason, or they may introduce melanin every once in a while into their bloodline, but that doesn't make them um, the definition of royalty that the ancients came up with. That's the new age version of royalty. Okay. hmm So, the royalty that's running around, I don't really consider them real royalty. I just, they took a name, they claimed it, they got some jewels and put it on their head. Um, they wear the diamond necklaces, but they can't get past the cross. So I don't know. Royalty of earth, royalty of their world. How about that? So I don't feel that royalty is what you see on TV or what you see in Buckingham or whatever. That's not real royalty. That's just they playing dress up, baby. There. Um, hmm, the Cross. Yeah, Prince has a song called The Cross. Y'all should go listen to it. It's kind of slow. Go listen to that song. Y'all know he plays every instrument. He's woke. His guitar shape was the Unk. Purple Rain. Prince has a lot of jewels in his music. hmm Prince is royalty. Yes. The color of royalty is purple. The purple rain, baby. hmm Does this channel boost my ego? No. If I wanted to boost my ego, I'd just walk around a bunch of men. I don't have to get on here and give y'all knowledge to do that, baby. Y'all know them trolls be trying to get me. They can never get me. Y'all can't get me. Never. I'm balanced because I'm in control. um, Thank you. You give off more royalty than Queen Elizabeth. Oh, thank you. Do y'all know that Michael Jackson wanted to be knighted by the Queen and she refused him? I didn't like all the other sense, but anyway. So he gone ahead and dubbed himself the King of Pop after that. After that. It's like, look, I'm gonna get this other queen, Elizabeth Taylor. I'm gonna get her to introduce me as the king of pop. And she has more influence than you do, Miss Old Queen. So I'm gonna get her to call me the king of pop. She got diamonds too. So, yep, self-proclaimed. Hmm. He didn't need her approval, but it was just a test. And do y'all know that he had the coat of arms that was very similar or almost the same as the one on Buckingham Palace? He had it on Neverland Ranch, and the Queen requested him to change it or take it down. So he was trying to tell y'all, look, I'm real royalty. I'm gonna take your family crest and I'm gonna stick it on my stuff. So you remember that? I would have left it up. Like it's too late. And I would have changed like two things on it and be like, it's staying up. I did not know that. Yeah. True. So Mike was too controversial to be knighted in its politics. Yeah, but he don't believe in politics. So he didn't care. You know, they always say, like, in the church, people always say, well, you say this and you say that, but if Jesus came down and asked you to do something, are you going to deny him too? If Jesus came down and asked to be knighted, you gonna deny him too because he too controversial? But you say, oh, I'm a Christian. Oh, I believe in God. But you deny the very people that are connected to the ascended masters of the cosmos. Interesting. So, when they say, like, when they say stuff like, oh, it's too controversial. Oh, we can't do that because of this, and that. Okay. They trying to do it. They're trying to do it now, though. Mhm. Um, love to Michael and Prince. Yes. Um, if Jesus tried to show up now, we gonna fight he late. How about you, Jesus, being a precursor to the people that are already here, who are also connected to the cosmos. How about that? Okay. How about having the Christos consciousness? How about being like that? You know, a similar being. So, people are waiting on one individual person when it is a group of people that are already here. Hmm. You can rock with that. There's a frequency and a vibration. So, the thing about the cross and Jesus, okay, so the cross, remember when I was telling you guys about the sound frequency and the light frequency? The sound frequency is vertical. Let me just talk in layman terms. The sound frequency is vertical. The light frequency is horizontal in waves, how they travel. Okay. So the cross would represent, okay, so your light frequency would be this, and your sound frequency would be this. The cross represents being able to merge those two to ascend. Okay. Both of those frequencies have to be high. Hmm. Right. The body is the cross. Yeah. Everything has multiple layers of meaning. That's why it's genius. Yes. Mhm. That's why your throat chakra is very important, and it's right here at the T, at the cross. So where you would cross, okay, so you would go up through here. Right here is where you receive your light through your eyes as well. Right here's where you receive your light. Right here is the sound. So the sound meets the light, and this is the cross. Woo. Okay. Why is the cross used in exorcism? Because the demon can't get up. It's earthbound. So it would only just make it angry and remind it that it can't get out and that it's not greater than that is greater. So it's kind of like being in prison and you like the boss of the prison, right? But then you see someone leave out of prison and go into have like the luxuries that you still can't even get, and have the information and knowledge and stuff. And you sit in prison, you rule prison, but someone just walked free and reminded you that you're imprisoned. So it's kind of like that. It's like, you know, just like on that Jay-Z video where they were all in prison and they were all sitting at the table and they had like the boss dude in prison and he was like, I'm gonna help y'all escape. And because all of you guys here are pretty much innocent or here unjustly. I forgot the name of that song. But it's kind of like that kingpin mentality, right? So it's a reminder. Legacy? Okay, yeah. What are the demons really? Okay. Certain spirits that are earthbound, certain energies that are earthbound. I'm going to call it earthbound because they cannot leave. Certain spirits that are earthbound, that does not mean that they cannot do certain things. It doesn't mean that they're weak. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means that they cannot leave. Right? And they don't have any influence above, only below or on the earth. Okay. hmm Um, Royal, thank you. The sun symbol. Yeah. There is life in all frequencies, even the lower ones. Yeah. Like, and there's something. Okay, so let me say this. If you're earthbound, that doesn't take anything away from your experience on this realm. It doesn't take anything away. You can still learn, you can still get knowledge, you can still vibrate on your highest frequency. It doesn't mean anything. The gift would represent the Ankh. The gift or the connection to the cosmos is what people will try to acquire, or they try to acquire it scientifically, but still can't really do it. Reminds me of that Drake song, and I said, turn the O2 into the O3. That means representing getting you melanin. So that will also help. And if you have that combined with awareness and spirituality, you're really good. Thank you, We Care a Lot. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Have you also heard the theory that Christ is really corpus colossum in our brains? It connects the right and the left brain, and we've been lied to. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Yeah, it's on all levels. It's interwoven into everything. As above, so below. As within, so without. What's in the cosmos is within you. Everything overlaps. So the connection, the curtain in the tabernacle, in the Bible, the veil being lifted, that means your two brains work as one. Your left and your right work as one. The masculine and the feminine work as one mind. You're not overly emotional or too logical to see, to listen to your intuition. So it meets in the middle. Blue represents the feminine side of the brain. Red represents the masculine side of the brain. In all of the medical charts and stuff like that, you have blue and red makes purple. Okay, so when you put the two together, you get the Christos consciousness. Your pineal gland is activated. You're in balance. You understand that you are in control. You use both aspects of self to get great results. You don't dismiss part of yourself and only listen to half of yourself. You listen to the entire thing and you combine it together to create, the higher message or the higher knowledge. Um, right. And also how you carry yourself. If you are trying to claim godhood and ascended masterhood or I'm ascending, wouldn't you reflect that? Wouldn't you reflect that in how you carry yourself, how you speak to other people, how you treat other people? You would carry yourself in a way that would demand respect. Demand respect. You hmm So, what was my bumblebee? Y'all like my bee? Bee is very symbolic as well. It's very symbolic. What does the bee create? Honey. Back in the old days, honey was food of the gods. Honey, melanin. Okay, black and yellow, black and yellow. Honey represents the melanin. They produce melanin out of, for the queen. The queen of their colony mates and produces more bees, and they multiply, and they have the hexagon shaped beehive. Um, and it also represents just divine creation, everybody working in order, balance, a system, da da da. Without the bees, there is no life on Earth. Without these bees, life will cease to exist. Okay. Yes. Bees are the fertilizers. They help flowers are consciousness, bloom. They help they help spread the seed of other flowers. They help spread knowledge and wisdom to other consciousness. Okay, let's talk about fashion for a second because people keep asking me about my shirt, my accessories, and stuff like that. Let's talk about Gucci, GG. Okay, do y'all remember when Gucci was like had the mask and people were mad because they said, "Oh, that's blackface" or whatever, whatever. Okay, so a lot of these fashion designers, a lot of their names represent being a god. Go look them up. Just go look it up. Go look up Gucci. You have the GG, the double G. You have, which is God or goddess. You also have all the symbols that Gucci uses, like snake, bees, like snake, bees. I think there's bees on the back of this. Um, the Kundalini rising energy, the colors, all of that. So you're going to have the rising Kundalini energy. You're going to have the bee, the melanin, the honey. And I think if most people really understood what these fashion designers were coding in their clothing, it would take you to a whole nother level. Medusa, that's Versace. They have the Medusa, which is the melanated goddess, and the Kundalini energy rising. You have Chanel, which is CC, which represents Saturn or 3-3, because C is the third number. You got 33. You got a channel to the cosmos. Okay. You got Hermes, as they pronounce it, the god of Mercury, alchemy. So all of these fashion designers also tap into this energy. Thank you, we care a lot. Ashira, do you think designers purposely antagonize Black people because they can use our energy, anger, and emotions? Da, 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 sprinkle, sprinkle. A lot of this stuff is tests to get people to inquire, to learn, to research, to react, whatever they're going to do. Like what it got me to do is start looking deeper. Like these earrings I have on, these are Givenchy. So Givenchy represents, it also represents some type of godlike covering. If you do your research, it represents some type of godlike covering, and what the name translates into. And that's why Beyonce says, um, y'all haters corny with that Illuminati mess, paparazzi, I'm so I'm so reckless when I rock my Givenchy dress styling. So it represents, godhood, goddesshood, being covered by that energy. So Louis Vuitton represents Louis represents the soldier or warrior. Okay. That represents warriors, soldiers, archangels. Look it up. That's why their colors are brown and tan. So I don't know what Prada mean. I haven't gone that far. I'm not into Prada. Look it up though. Y'all can look it up for me. So when you see a lot of these celebrities rocking a lot of high fashion and putting it in their music, remember it's code as well, because you make code from stuff that's already coded and then it's double coded. hmm They try to keep people's root chakra overstimulated, right? That's why you have to be strong and control what you allow to stimulate you. That is totally within our control. Thank you, Carla Sanders. Why is the animal print so popular? What does it mean? Sprinkle, sprinkle. Depending on what animal print it is, and it also represents your. If it's cat print, it represents a lot of that energy from like Sekhmet, Bast, and things like that. So you gotta, yeah, that cat energy. You gotta see what print it is. Um, mhm. So no one can do anything to you when you know something and you decide not to allow it to influence you anymore. Okay? People that don't know allow things to influence them. That's the bad thing about it. That's why right now, we have access to so much knowledge, videos, and people teaching. Um, if people are seeking something deeper, when they get tired of being overstimulated, there has to be more to life than this. There has to be more to life than this. They just start looking within, or for answers, and on other people's platforms and channels. They'll start looking for answers when nothing gives them the fulfilled feeling of knowing thyself. They'll start looking. Right now they're not looking. But if people of influence were to start promoting and teaching this, kind of like a lot of the celebrities are trying to do, people will stop being overstimulated and start learning who they truly are. I think Kanye West is doing this in one aspect as well as Terrence Howard and a lot of other people who are, putting information in their songs, like Beyonce and Drake and all of them. They're pushing it subtly. Kanye's pushing it, but a lot of people are pushing it subtly as well. But they'll get there. hmm You know, overstimulating certain chakras will also cause division. Like I said, like you have people that will watch TV and see, someone who's very over sexual, or and then they expect all women to be like that. Or you'll see someone who, they'll have all that expectation. So they don't really show sensual anymore. They'll show more sexual, because sensual and sexual is totally different. Okay. hmm Kanye is not confused. He know what he doing. Kanye is a genius. Just let him do what he do. I'm trying to tell you. Just wait. You'll see. You just not fully understanding what he's doing right now. Really not understanding. I was watching something that he put out, or somebody put out, of his, what they call his testimony. He was at a church and he was like, saying some words, and he was trying to tell people what and who they were, but by using biblical terms. He was trying to put the knowledge out there using biblical terms, but people are so just programmed with understanding the knowledge as literal. They didn't decode what he was saying. Okay. Okay. If you disagree, that's fine. But I see what he's doing. I see. Okay. hmm People that look from a higher perspective see exactly what he's doing, and I see what he's doing, and it's going to work out. Okay. hmm Why is Kanye with a racist family? How can they be racist if they're getting his melanin and having children and getting lips and hips and butts to look like someone that they are not? You know what I'm saying? So you got to think about stuff like that. hmm Oh, he is speaking of Trump. Well, Trump is one of those people that work for the other side. Trump is kind of like someone who comes. Trump is like the Joker. He comes in to stir things up, to get everybody to feel comfortable and say what they need to say, get everything out on the table, to see who's who and what's what and what's the frequency of this country. Okay. So he has a job to do. Let him do his job. Okay. Everybody can say Trump is racist, but he's just doing something so that y'all can follow the leader. And that's exactly what happened. If if you got a man that comes out and say this, and that, everybody else who's been quiet, who hadn't been saying it because they fear losing that job or being called this, and that, they all automatically have the courage to say it now because the leader of the country is saying it, so it must be okay. So he goes ahead and does what he does so that other people like will follow him. Thanks for the enlightenment. Thank you, Lloyd. Sprinkle, sprinkle. So if you want to reveal someone, you must first give them the okay to feel comfortable enough to reveal themselves. Okay? Y'all know how they do on 48 hours. They get that suspect in that room. I've even seen it. They get, when they do gang investigations, like for gang violence, the cop will come in with the color of tie that the gang member is associated with. They start off with the color first. Okay, this is very psychological. They start off with that color. So the tie, look at his tie, baby. When he's speaking, look at the color of that tie. So when he's giving off, when he's trying to relate to certain people, he will wear a different tie. And when you wear a certain color and you speak a certain message and you give certain information out, you're trying to get people revealed, revelations, revealing things. Okay. So, you know, when he wants things revealed, he'll go ahead and reveal himself so that others will not feel shame to reveal themselves. It's kind of like getting naked. You walk in a room, you see somebody, "Oh," it's the first time or whatever y'all get together. You see you feel more comfortable when they take their clothes off first. Okay? They get naked first. You get to look at them and examine them and see how people, see how he reacts or you react. Then you're comfortable enough to get naked too and expose yourself. So it's a trick, it's a gimmick. I mean, most mentalists understand Trump. So once everyone is naked and out and everything is spewed, things are known. Okay. um, mhm. Oh. And Trump don't care about politics. He really don't. He's not even a politician. That's the beautiful thing about it. I don't even vote. And this is how I know that Trump is not a politician. He's a businessman. Trump, straight up business. Look, he's an opportunist and a businessman, and he's a mentalist. He knows how to expose people, learn their weaknesses so he can swoop in and take advantage and do what knew what he need to do. So think about all his reality shows. Think about every reality show he's had. Think about it. You're fired. What did he do when he first came in office? Fired everybody. You fired. This is like reality TV all over again. Who caused him the most controversy and he didn't take action against? Who didn't end up in prison or fired? Well, Omarosa did. Omarosa. Who got paid off of him? Omarosa. Who he didn't go after? Omarosa. Why? She won on his show. Who was he really good friends with? LaToya Jackson. Who lived with him in the Trump Tower for years and years? Michael Jackson. Okay, y'all need to go do y'all research. Do y'all remember that video I showed y'all with Bobby Brown and Ghostbusters 2 when he walked out of Trump Tower and it said, "So I guess we're gonna have to take control." Oh. And then Trump walks out. Y'all need to go watch stuff. Shoot, I'm old, so I've seen all this stuff transpire. But they even show him and Mike on an airplane having a meeting occur. So they spent a lot of time together. They knew about this, and that. They work with each other. On my old channel, when I used to do the Michael Jackson videos, there is a family portrait of the royal family. And then there's a family portrait of the Jackson family. One is this big, one is this big, okay? And the queen is sat in the same spot that they set Catherine Jackson. And they have on the same outfit, blue suit, and all of their offspring and children behind them. But the queen's is that big, Catherine's is this big, okay? So y'all go look up that picture. Go look up the Jackson family portrait and then go look up the royal family portrait with the queen or whatever. Y'all gonna see it's very similar. They put themselves as the royal family of America in an aspect, back in the 80s and the 70s. So LaToya Jackson is like always was on his reality show. And they were like best friends. She even left and came back. He brought her back. He brought Omarosa back. He keep bringing them back. They was running stuff. He hired them. So think about this for a second. Just think. And then his wife, Melania. Go research her name. Go look up Melania. It means melanin. Okay. So Trump made a deal. And, if you wanted to infiltrate a system, you don't send somebody that look like you up in there. No, they ain't going to talk around you. You send in a spy. Dark clothes. Dark clothes equal melanin, baby. So you don't send in somebody that look like someone that they're not going to speak freely around. You send somebody in there that looks similar to them and that will act and play the role. Okay. So let him do his job. Okay. Let him do his job. People think they're getting ready to vote him out. No, he put in position on purpose. Um, and voting doesn't matter because he's already told you that. Not enough people voted for Trump for him to even be in the White House. And then he says, I am the chosen one. He tweets, I am the chosen one. Or what does he say that in a speech? I am the chosen one. I am the chosen one. Because they chose him. So if you read the book of Enoch, they talk a lot about a white buffalo or a white bull or something like that. Go read it. Thank you, Phoenix. How do you feel about the blogs going off on Evelyn saying she's Afro-Latina? Why is this concept so hard to digest? All Caribbean countries have the same roots, not just different. Thank you, Phoenix. Sprinkle, sprinkle. I was talking about the flags earlier, and a lot of the flags of the Caribbean have, similar colors. So the flags represent the races of people that inhabit that place via the electromagnetic frequencies, scale. So it don't matter what you call each other. What is your frequency? It really doesn't matter. Causing division among other people is just lowering their frequency. Everybody that knows who they are, knows who they are. If you like to cause division, if other people like to cause division, if people want to pick apart people because of where they're from, what their language is, what they look like, what their skin tone is, what their hair texture, that's their problem. They like to create that division. They were taught that. They were, they were brainwashed into that because it causes division instead of multiplication. Okay. So when you work like bees, you don't work in division, you work in unison to accomplish the goal. Thank you, we care a lot, sprinkle, sprinkle. The problem with that is Evelyn say they're Afro-Latino, but say anti-Black things all the time. They're only Afro something convenient. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. That's true. But again, not everyone is going to have knowledge of self. Okay. Maybe she don't have knowledge of self. That could be the problem. Most people's problem is ignorance of self, lack of knowledge of self. If everyone had knowledge of self, there would be less division. That's why I make these videos. Okay. Instead of complaining, focus on the solution. The solution is give information. Okay. So, so give information instead of typing out long comments in the, in their videos or whatever that they do about how this is not. Simply put this line. Perhaps she doesn't have knowledge of self. If she did, she would not be saying such things. Because I never say such things. If I'm trolling on somebody, I would never ever stoop to the level of dividing people. I will get them for their lack of knowledge, their ignorance, their behavior, but I'm not getting them on anything that has to do with who they are just because I am self-aware. Okay. That would be working in reverse. So people are just not aware of who they are. Okay. It's the same thing as someone denying someone it's the same thing as a Christian denying someone due to the color of their skin because they don't understand that Jesus represents that person. Okay. Um, Lack of knowledge. That's all. So I don't like to create more division where there's none needed. There's already enough there due to the lack of knowledge. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. So, as long as you're righteous and you remain righteous and you teach righteousness and you live righteous, all that means when you break that down is, are you aware of self and are you multiplying self? That's all that means. That's it. People look too deep into it. Righteous does not mean good or bad. It means, are you right on the electromagnetic spectrum? Are you producing more people that are going to be right on the electromagnetic spectrum? Are you multiplying your righteousness or are you dividing it? That's all that be. Okay. Someone who has divided their righteousness, mm, maybe Kanye West. Um, but that is his choice. He's a man. He has plenty of seeds. He may have some secret children running around. He may have also multiplied his righteousness somewhere else. A lot of people have secret children. And, who's to say that he is, done procreating? And who's to say that Kim is his last wife? We don't know. So the whole point is, are you multiplying or dividing? It's your free will, it's your choice. Um, the children also get to choose. So it's also what you teach and also their choice. Hmm. Trump is a German name, though. Hmm. Doesn't matter. Germany. What's Germany famous for? Hmm. Let me set my clock so I don't go over. What is Germany famous for, though? Hmm. Holocaust. That's right. And what in the higher mind? Now we're not going to be emotional. In the higher mind, in the higher sense of mental, what did the Holocaust really represent? The wall. Exactly. The Holocaust was the wall, the experiment, the test. We care a lot. It was a test. Exactly. They did not pass the test. So the true Jews or people of God would not be them because they did not pass the test. The wall test, the quantum tunneling test, the ascension test, the cross. Okay. Um, mhm. So that's what that is. Uh, Now listen to this. Now y'all got to come out of emotion. You got to come out. They said Hitler was Jewish. So if you were Jewish and you want to know the truth, because there's lots of controversy surrounding, are you the chosen people? Or are these people the chosen people? Sure, I love your channel so much. Even may not always agree. You are a wealth of knowledge and most interesting channel on YouTube. Thank you. Sprinkle, sprinkle. We care a lot. I appreciate that. So if you wanted to know the truth, wouldn't you put your science to the test and also fulfill prophecy at the same time? Think about the prophecy. The prophecy was people would be taken to a distant land and treated bad, right? So if you're trying to fulfill prophecy to prove that you're the chosen people, and also do scientific experiments to prove that you can quantum tunnel or get past the wall or get off the cross or get past the cross, and it didn't work out for you, what then? So that mystery was solved right then and there, but a lot of people don't talk about that. That whole mystery was solved right then and there. But right. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Oh, whenever someone donates, I always say sprinkle, sprinkle, because I'm also sprinkling abundance back upon to them in their lives. hmm Right, Victoria. That's what I'm talking about. Like, hmm is this why they haven't had a Holocaust for Black people? Because they know that we'll get past the wall. No, we care a lot. The Holocaust, we don't need a Holocaust. We had fulfilled prophecy hundreds of years before that. Okay. So that was already done. The prophecy was his people would be taken to a distant land, and burden upon burden would be put upon them. They would be da 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 da, all of that. That was slavery. Okay. hmm So that's already been done. And so that already fulfilled that prophecy. Some Black people are Native American. That's true. hmm Um, Look up quantum tunneling. We care a lot. Go Google quantum tunneling. The wall is a test to see if you can. Uh, the wall represents leaving the earth and getting into the cosmos. Live your life off the wall, like Michael Jackson said. If you have enough melanin, you can get ghost and travel through the wall. Okay, that means you can quantum tunnel. hmm And I talked about the Jay-Z video. On to the next one is the whole video is about getting through the wall. Go watch it. It's not on YouTube anymore. Go watch it on Vimo, Vemo. Just go to Google and type in "On to the next one" video by Jay-Z, and it'll pop up on Vimo, and you can watch it there. They don't show it on YouTube anymore. Okay. hmm How did the Holocaust fail? It failed to prove that they could get through the wall. It was, to me, it was a quick way to try to make up for the prophecy, you know, and it was another way to bring world attention to this by doing, by causing war. And then all the scientific tests that they were doing in the concentration camps were trying to figure out if these are the in fact chosen people, because only the chosen people can get through to the other side, which represents Do they have enough electromagnetic frequency to quantum tunnel, basically? And, through all these experiments, of course, they came up with medical, stuff and found all this new knowledge about human bodies and stuff like that by doing all these experiments that they were doing. So he sold his own people out yeah. So, hmm right. So, Ashira, how do we know that we passed the test? If you could get out, you don't know until it happens. You gotta have that frequency when you leave this physical body. They weren't. All those experiments were to prove the physical body. I mean, the spiritual. Do they have a soul? Basically, in a nutshell, do they have a soul? Do they have the ark? Can they get through to the cosmos? Can they return to the heavens, to the ethers? That's it. hmm Um, I would assume if you have the frequency now and you stay on the path, you must be good. It's kind of like improving your grades in school and staying on track, right? That's right. Um, what about slavery reparations? Everybody else got a bag but us. Um, but what are you gonna do with that bag? Let me ask y'all a question. If everyone got reparations, what would you do with that money? Give it right back to them? Get deeper into debt? Get more unbalanced? Hmm. hmm You see, the test of a true alchemist is to create their own gold. The test of a true balanced god or goddess is to create their own gold. Why does a god or a goddess or someone with the Ak need money from someone without an Ak? Y'all gotta think. Who are you? It's 2019. Now, if they giving it, I'm taking it, but I'm not getting ready to fight for it. I'm not getting ready to cry over it. I'm not getting to beg for nothing. Shoot, I'm always gonna take free money, but I don't need it. It'll just go in my savings account and gather. But instead of focusing on that gold, focus on the gold within. Focus on knowing thyself. Focus on who you are. Focus on getting knowledge. Knowledge will bring you that money. I promise you. There's no person walking around with knowledge of self that is incorporating it into their daily life. They're not walking around broke. I promise you. Okay. Anyone who has ascended to God or goddess level is not walking around here broke. I promise you. Look at everyone who represents themselves as a balanced, higher minded, conscious being. They ain't walking around broke. They got something. They're not begging. And the reason I say this is because I think so many people get caught up in the emotional aspect of it. Well, why everybody else? Why everybody else? Because they're not you. They're not you. If you're going to claim, oh, I'm a god, I'm a goddess, but you over here begging or waiting for reparations, that's not a god or a goddess. If you lining up to vote, for someone to rule over you, you're not a god or a goddess. If you line up to out of fear or what society thinks of you, or if you're ruled by what other people want from you, you are not a god or a goddess. If you don't rule yourself, you ain't a god or a god. You haven't ascended. So a lot of people say they are, but they're not. They don't represent it. Why do they call it Wall Street? I don't know. I'd have to research that one. I've never looked into it. But it probably has something to do with that. You're right. hmm I think the music industry is a really good example of not begging. We have a lot of entertainers in the music industry, a lot of Black artists in the music industry who are top of the charts. And I think Kanye said this in one of his sermons. He said, the devil had me chasing a gold statue, but I didn't even know what the Grammys were when I was in my mom's, you know, place making beats and songs. I know what that was, but now I'm chasing a gold statue. When all along I created everything. I created all of this. I sold this many records. You can't measure um, God's energy with numbers or statues. So basically, what he was saying is that award to compete in the Grammys is like a false idol, and you can't put limits on um, any type of influence from above. There's no limits to that. You can't judge that. Okay, that's for y'all. That's for the earthbound, um, and that's not for someone who's getting direct influence from the cosmos. You can't measure that. There's no award for that. That is the reward, the access. Okay, so I'm telling y'all got to go listen to it. It's all code. So, 333, back to the topic, and then I'm going to end this video. 333, Ka Ba Ak, the mind, body, and soul. Then you have the Trinity and the number of growth, transmutation, and self knowledge, and royal connection to the divine and the cosmos. hmm A lot of celebrities are false idols. I think they want to use public's energy like, or they're trying to teach a bunch of people at once because people are not waking up fast enough, or that, or because they have influence above and below. Okay, we got to think bigger. We got to think bigger. Okay, if only normal people like me were spreading knowledge, it wouldn't get spread fast enough in this day and age. Okay, let these people work. Let them work. Stop always thinking it's something else. Just let it work. If they know more than you, let them work. Let them work. But Ashira, they sacrificed their family. Do you know? That's a whole nother video, baby. That's a whole nother video. Um, that's hearsay. People die every day. That doesn't mean that they were sacrificed. Now, I don't doubt that there is sacrifice going on, but I'm just saying we don't know who's been sacrificed, who's not been sacrificed. Da, da, da. If they knew that was going to happen, if they agreed to something in code and didn't know how to decode, who knows? But the point is, that was the past. They're here today, giving a whole different. There's a whole new vibration on Earth that is influencing a lot of people to influence the masses. Think about it. Okay. Um. mhm. I'm only going to choose people that are highly influential. They're not going to choose. They're going to choose people that are able to convey the message, the time. They're going to choose people that are going to give the message out and to influence them. And they're going to choose people that have a long reach as far as influence is concerned. Now, Who you choose to get it from is your choice, yes. Some people do not want to get it from celebrities. Some people want to get it from YouTubers. Some people want to get it from books. Some people want to figure it out on their own. It's your choice. But I'm saying, let them wake up the people who are looking to them. That's it. Hmm. But thank you guys so much. I appreciate everyone's donation. I appreciate everyone's time and energy and comments and questions. And also, mhm, the fact that y'all are thinking and coming up with y'all own stuff and helping me learn too. Mhm. So I'm just reading some of these last comments. Thank you, Casimira. I appreciate that. Mhm. So once they get the melanin and returned in a different vessel, they won't still roll out their agenda. It will not be in their frequency, you know? Because remember what the Ak is. The Ak is the divine connection. So if you had a plan, let's just say you were a troll on my channel and you were part of a group that didn't like me, but you came to my channel, you sat for a while and you got some information that raised your frequency and you learned some stuff and your life improved and you know, you start to understand me and A, B, C, and D. You know, you're not working for that agenda anymore. Now you're on my agenda. You see? So when you're on this agenda, because you understand it and you vibrate on a high frequency on this agenda, you become this agenda straight up. You know, it's called we multiply. Mhm. We don't die, we multiply. That's what it means. So it represents when they talk about it in rap music, they call it shopping, picking up some J's, like in the, um, you all remember that Travis Scott cereal box? Mom, I went to the store and all I brought back was the cereal. It represents that. So it represents taking people from here and switching them to here, whether it be physically or spiritually. Okay. All right. I'm see y'all later.